Hello everyone. Another housekeeping reminder. These videos are being shadow banned on TikTok. So if you see this and you like these videos and you want to continue seeing them regularly, pop off over into my link tree and sign up either for my YouTube channel or for my Substack to be able to see these daily, because right now TikTok continues to suppress independent media, citizen journalists, and I know some people have already lost their channels. So don't wait for that. Please subscribe. Please help support my work. Moving right along. So this article is on the BBC website, and it's a good question. Yes, it is true that Russia is persistently brainwashing its own citizens, including children. And just recently, it had introduced additional restrictions on internet content. Does it work? It is really a toss-up, actually. So that depends on the parents. And I am reminded very much of what it was like growing up in the Soviet Union, where we had similar tools deployed to brainwash the population. I was very fortunate to grow up in a very cosmopolitan, multinational family. So I knew better, thanks to my parents and my grandparents. Not all children were so lucky. So I suspect the situation in Russia right now is very much like that. Moving right along. So before we go further into this, I'm going to give you more details on the situation in the Donetsk region. I don't want anybody freaking out, but yes, it's true that evacuation of children from the city of Slavyansk has been ordered. And if you have visions, documentaries, old yellow kind of scratched up documentaries and photographs in your head of children traveling by train by themselves, you are right to do so. Yes, we have seen this before. We have seen this during World War II. So, this is nothing. But what I want to encourage everyone to do is not freak out over this situation. Slavyansk has been a hotspot for a very long time. This is in the Donetsk region, and we know Donetsk region is like a boiling pot. It is one of the worst conflict areas, and it has been longer than the rest of Ukraine because Russian militants came barging into that area right after the annexation of Crimea. So this has been a boiling pot since 2014. Okay? So I'm glad they're getting the kids out. I am glad that they're taking preliminary measures. We'll see what happens next. I'm not saying that the situation is not serious. I just don't want people freaking out about it. Now, this next bit also is something I'm going to give you additional information about, because what they're posting right now in the international sources mostly comes from Russia. I'm going to give you information that comes from Ukraine, and that information is substantiated by videos, by photos, and so on and so forth. I really wish more sources used that. There's still a question of EU's loan to Ukraine. There's still the question of the veto by Hungary. Again, I know that largely the EU government supports this loan. So I'm curious to find out how exactly they're going to work around Hungary's veto. Hungary said that they're not going to budge. Also, Hungary continues to blackmail Ukraine instead of looking for other ways to get their oil or looking for their ways to reduce their oil dependency. They continue blackmailing Ukraine to get that oil pipe running again. And considering right now that Ukrainian energy infrastructure is in dire straits, they're also pointing out that 40% of Ukraine's electricity flows through Hungary, and they are threatening to shut that off. Again, I'm looking at you, European Council. I'm sorry, this can't be something that should be tolerated. I'm just saying. Zelensky is still trying to sort out a conversation with the United States, and basically saying, give us something, give us a date at least, and a reasonably solid agenda. So we'll see how that goes. Now, this next bit is important, and this is where I said, everything pertains to everyone. Nothing ever stays in one place. So because of the U.S. conflict in Iran, a significant part of the Patriot air defense missiles have been moved to the Middle East. That leaves holes in Europe's defenses. Now remember, this is something that Ukraine has been asking for literally for months and years. More Patriot missiles because they desperately need those air defenses. So what I'm seeing in the future is, again, a close collaboration with Ukraine, using their expertise in how to do without, basically. And remember the theft by Hungarian government of bank vehicles that belong to Ukraine, stealing cash and gold that they were carrying. They have now used what basically in layman's terms is known as the truth serum on one of the crew who was accompanying those vehicles. That's torture. That's in violation of Geneva Convention. And Ukraine continues to be a good friend to its neighbors and allies by deploying military units to help protect critical and civilian infrastructure in the Middle East. Now, here is additional kind of a supplemental bit from Ukrainian sources about what is going on. So we have a confirmation there have been more widespread strikes by Russia that killed 9 civilians, including parents of 2 children, and injured 36 more over the past day. This was a massive attack where basically every major region was affected, including my native region of Zaporizhia. The photograph you see here has been taken in Zaporizhia, in fact, as has this one. There were additional casualties in the Donetsk region, in Kherson region, in Sumy, in Poltava, so this is massive. For some reason, not enough sources are covering this outside of Ukraine. Now, what's going on with the widespread claims by Russia that Ukraine is targeting Moscow? So, this is according to Moscow government. Now, again, I told you before, Ukraine has been launching those drones as mostly psychological warfare. So, we can't confirm any of this independently. This we can. Again, yes, it's true that Ukraine launched nearly 300 drones targeting oil depots and a chemical plant. Once again, this is something that Russian sources don't want you to know. These are military objects, and Ukraine has been consistent in targeting military objects. Plus, there's been a strike against a plant in the Luhansk region and the shooting down of a Russian K-52 helicopter. That has been confirmed. More to come.